Well, hello and welcome to this week's Material Musings. You haven't seen me for a while. I did I do one last week? Anyway, so I've been experimenting and I've been doing a lot of other things behind the scenes, and I will share that with you. So let's take a quick look at what we're going to be doing today.
Welcome to Material Musings, where the fabrics tell their tales. Eco-dyed colors from the garden, slow stitches where the heart exhales. Painting cloth and weaving stories, wall hangings blooming bright. Come create with Amanda, where your creativity takes flight.
So welcome, where your creativity takes flight. So I've been dyeing some fabric and I was experimenting with solar dyeing, and I've got my jars here. For some reason I didn't put what they were on front. I know this one is aloe water with its wrapped fabric that had been soaking in an alum bath, and then I put flowers on it. But what I'll be doing is showing you the results of them next month. But I'll show next week. But it will be next month, won't it? Oh my gosh, look how time's flying. Anyway, so yeah, next month you will see the results. I'm just looking at my calendar. So this is aloe water. Yeah, this is bougainvillea. This is a pink bougainvillea, and it's got a nail in there, a rusty nail. But all of the fabric had been soaking in the alum, and it acts as a mordant. It's supposed to keep them, the fabric dyed for longer. And so I had done this 1 week. These have been going for a few weeks because I forgot where they were. So yeah, this is the bougainvillea leaf. It was pink, started out pink, and then I had I found a rusty nail. I don't really like working with rust, and so I put that in there, and that's probably why it's gone this color. So it'll be interesting to see what the fabric's like. And this is the flamboyant tree. So the flamboyant tree has orange flowers. The one that I have got is orange flowers. So again, this is water. It's soaked in the fabric was soaked in the alum. Put it in the water. Put some additional leaves around the edge, and on the fabric itself, I placed the flamboyant leaves. So I was hoping to get that transfer of the red onto the fabric. I'm not an expert. I just experiment, and one of the things that I don't do is follow instructions. So I think it's part of me gets impatient, and I think, oh, I wonder if, as opposed to having the control thing and then you can experiment afterwards, but I find that I do get some nice results, and I do that with cooking as well. It's just like, oh my gosh, like I know all of the different flavors that I like and how the herbs that I have will infuse their flavor into the food. And yeah, I have so many cookbooks, and I don't use the cookbooks because I like to be inspired in the kitchen with what I have in the cupboard, or yeah, I don't go out and buy specific things for this because this recipe calls for it. Sometimes it'll be, what have I got in the cupboard, and then open it, okay, let's make this. And I guess it's because my mother, I saw the cooking that I saw my mother do. She always cooked wonderful dishes, and she seemed to pluck the recipe out of her head. But that was because it seemed that way because she had years of experience. So she's, you know, been cooking for a long time. She used to do that as a job. In Jamaica, she worked as a chef or in a guest house or something anyway, and then when we were little, she worked for a children's home and she cooked the meals, and it was just like everything she put her hand to in terms of food always tasted amazing. And she could, you know, every year, every birthday, she would make cake, and she would make cake there was one cake you had for yourself, a big, like, round 12-inch, maybe a bit bigger, and then she would make one for the house. And I guess she made one for us because then I'd left home by then, so I could take that with me, but she made one for the house as well. But she made these fruit cakes with a dash of rum, and chicken she cooked with wine, and the flavors. Anyway, it's Material Musings, so that's why I don't follow instructions, because I guess as follow recipes basically, and I'm not saying that I can't, but I do like to experiment. So let's look at some of the things that I've experimented with, and you'll be able to see. And next time what I'll do is I'll take these out and open them up, let it dry, and see what we've got. Okay, so come on, let's go to the table, yeah? Okay, so here we have some of the fabrics that I've been dyeing. So I always keep to hand either like tea towels, or like you can use old, this is just like a sheet, this is actually it was a recycled curtain, and on the one side of the curtain it had this white lining fabric. So this has actually been dyed with turmeric, and what I would potentially go back in and do is, you know, maybe do some tie-dye. It's a lot more orange looking. Let me see if I come closer, it might seem more, you can see the true colour, but it's more yellowy than it is actually showing up. And so this would form the basis of different projects. Like I might do some wax resist, and oh my goodness, as I say it, I'm thinking, oh, I want to do some wax resist now. I haven't done that for a while. This is again turmeric, and it's more intense, so you can see the difference. So I mean, this is like a pale pastel yellow, and this is a more intense yellow. So I'll find a use for that. And this is the same one. Then I did some tea dye ones, and these are pale, but you can see the difference. I have a really strong tea that when I'm making the tea bag, literally all you need to do is dip it, and when you take it out, it's like a medium coloured tea. And so I save the bags because there's so much more of the colour left in, and every now and again, you know, this particular one I folded up concertina style. I was looking at some of the traditional African methods of dyeing. Not that this is one, as I said, you know, in terms of instructions. But I will one day. I'd love to create the mud cloth, and I can create cloth inspired by mud cloth. So what I would do with this is iron it, because what you've got is, in these gaps, you've got the original colour, and then the tea has stained the creases, so where it went on the creases. So that was that one. And this one, how did I fold it? I had just folded it like this, like that. And then I put some ties on it, and you can't see the beauty of it whilst it's creased, but it's got nice coloration to it. And again, that's what I'll do. I'll get them all nicely ironed, and then next week when I show you the other fabrics that are still in the jar, you'll be able to see them. Now I will have to prepare you because they've been soaking for a couple of weeks now, yeah, but you may open them out and it hasn't taken like, you know, traditionally when you see other people do it. So I would suggest you learn how to do the technique first, try it simply. I mean, ideally what I want to just be able to do is solar dye. You know, I'm surrounded by sun, I've got loads of jars, I'm always collecting jars, and it's nice to have these things on the go and be able to access them without having to, you know, do any boiling or whatever it is. So yeah, we'll see. And I'm not going to be, you know, overly disappointed if it hasn't. It's just like you decided to experiment and, you know, you take it from there. So that's these ones. I did another one. Look at this one. So this is, it's quite orange, like a sorbet. And this was, it looks more orange. Like maybe if I put it beside this pale one. Well, see, even this looks kind of green, but it's a yellow. This is pale yellow, and this is like a pale orange. And this is the annatto seed. So I put the fabric in, and this one I did boil. And again, I'm going to iron it, and then you'll be able to see it much nicer once it's ironed. And maybe in the photographs, maybe the colour differences will come out in the photographs. So you can kind of see it kind of there, yeah? Okay, let's move on because I've got some more. This one hasn't yet been washed. So this is with the turmeric. I put the leaves on and I was impatient. Let's come out, yeah. But you've still got, you know, where the flowers have gone on. This is, I mixed it. So we've got flamboyant leaves and the leaves from the bougainvillea, yeah. So again, it's not like you just got kind of patches. But the wonderful thing about this is that everything that you create, you can make something of it. So say you decided, okay, I mean, I've got this now, what can I make? Let me show you something that I did. Look at this. Isn't that lovely? So I was one of the Inspiration Squad members in Fodder School 5 for Roxanne's Stout lesson. So she inspired us to make these kind of hanging things. So what I did was look in the things that I have and made this, and took strips from fabric that I'd already dyed. So, you know, these are dyed pieces. Let's come in so you can see it. I think they came out really nice. And the thing is that the fabric that I took these strips from and cut them up, it was just like, maybe I thought, oh, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. But looking at it like this, each individual one looks so lovely. And, you know, I think this was a tea-dyed one. And because of the size of them, I can still go in and do some stitching on them. But combined with a lot of other things, they just have this really gorgeous look, yeah? So, you know, there are no mistakes. It's just trial and error, and you just go again and, you know, okay, let me actually look at the instructions now and see, do the step by step, get it, and then I can alter it as I choose. Yeah? Or they can be used to wrap things, to make your own beads, fabric beads. Yeah? Okay, let's come out and have a look at the others. I've just got a few more, and I want to show you another thing that I'm working on as well. Okay, so that's the bougainvillea and the flamboyant leaves. I think this dried, and I was thinking, oh, let me keep it on for longer and see if it stains, but it didn't. So I didn't get a chance to kind of scrape everything off, so I can do that. And ooh, this one, this was an experiment, an out and out experiment. And whenever I cut aloes, it always stains. It's the yellow liquid, and initially I thought it was the aloes itself, but it isn't. It's the yellow liquid, it may be allicin, I think. Allicin, not Alison. But so that stains. If you were going to eat the aloes, you would drain that in a jug, drain the aloes in a jug, and you'd get this liquid. Now, if you allow the liquid to dry, I think it's oxidation, and it turns the yellow liquid to red. So it's really quite an amazing process, but you have to leave it over a certain amount of time. And these were this was wrapped in aloes and put in a jar with water, and I was just like, I can't wait any longer, I have to take it out. So I think this was like a few days. So it's turned it a similar colour that avocado pit would turn it, kind of like a purpley colour. Now I'm sure I can get other variations, and I will show you. Yeah, but this is going to be wonderful as, you know, I could do it could be strips, I could stamp on this, stitch it, add it to other projects. And so it's always, you know, nice to have a range of different fabrics that you can use in your projects. Now look at this one, look at that, isn't that cool? Well, you might not think it's cool, it doesn't matter. I think it's cool. So what I've done here is I sliced the aloes and I placed it on the fabric, and then I think I did it this way, wrapped it up. I had it on a tray, wrapped it up, and then just let it dry, and I left it for a few days. And so we've got the staining, so you can see the staining, but look at the shapes, aren't they lovely? That's just where I've cut it. And what happened is, so these were all soaked in alum, and what happened was as it's drying, it's evaporating, but the colour is bleeding out. Because I thought, as it was drying and the colour was moving, I thought that these wouldn't be retained, these shapes. Do you want to come in? And then this must be where some water hit it before it had dried. Let's come in. But you see, so if I arrange this in a pattern, so literally just sliced the aloes, and you could, yeah, you know, create even a stencil, create a stencil and put it on there, do the wax resist as well. I'm thinking if you painted an image, as it dried it would stain, yeah? You could do that. You could get the liquid from the skin of the aloes and then use that. You would still, I think it would probably still be similar to this. You would get the main shape, where this is where the slice of aloe rested, and then the colour kind of just migrates out, and then I ironed it. Yeah, so I'm gonna be doing more of these the experiments with the aloes, and just plants that I've got growing in the garden, you know, and look at even things like the green banana leaf. When you boil it, the water that's left goes a very dark brown, and when you're cutting banana, when you're cutting it from the stem, oh, I should have tried that, but I don't have any bananas growing, but I will next time. So cutting the stem and doing a similar sort of thing, putting a slice of the stem on the fabric, because that actually stains as well. The liquid that comes from the stem stains your clothes, even the coconut, because you can see when the I was going to say the guys, but it's not only guys that do the coconut. When they're, you know, if they're, you know, actually cutting it and draining it, look, see, you can see the colour now, the yellow. It stains their clothes. So it's looking at those kind of plants, as opposed to the ones that you might get in Europe, like the oak, or not mugwort. There's another one. There's quite a few that you may not get in the Caribbean, but these are the colours that I've got: annatto, aloes, turmeric. This is turmeric. These are, you know, a selection of plants. We've got some, there's like a bluey purpley colour. We've got tea, some more what do you call it, turmeric. Yeah, and so I hope that, you know, this has inspired you to maybe look at some of the fabrics that you've dyed already and think, okay, now what can I do with it? Like, I've not yet made clothes, but, you know, you could do larger batches, but I want to kind of perfect these smaller ones first and work with them. Okay, so next, well, the last thing I want to show you is the kawandi I'm working on. Okay, so this is the kawandi that I started. It's made from I found these pillowcases, and they're really nice and soft, cotton, and I dyed it. Again, tea dye. So, oops, there we go. Yeah, so I dyed it with the tea, and I've just been stitching it. I hadn't decided whether, well, the way that I've done it, you can see where I've done the knots, so I hadn't decided whether I wanted to do another layer. Again, it's kawandi inspired because it's not done in the traditional way that the Siddhi women would do it, the Siddhi, S-I-D-D-I-S, and yeah, I'm kind of new at doing the kawandis. My first few kawandis was done following instructions, and normally you would have 3 layers. But what I decided to do was take, just do 2 layers, and I like the stitching round, and I like the simplicity of kind of using the fabric, patching the fabric, adding it, and all of the fabric that I've added so far has been hand dyed, painted. And the person that, the artist that inspired me to do my first kawandi was Sherry Whetstone. I think that's it. Sherry, sorry. I'll leave her Instagram link so that you can check her out on Instagram. She's got loads of fabric classes, quilt classes, Kawandi classes, and so some of these were actually dyed by and painted by her students, and she sent me a series of fabrics, so I can actually identify this one, I think this one is a rust dye one. I mean, I love the effects that you can get with the rust dye, and I just don't like handling the rust. It's like, you know, when you were young, the idea of getting lockjaw because you know, had a cut or got cut with a rusty nail or something. I think she did this one as well. Yeah, and then I'll show you the rest. This is what I wanted to kind of go in the middle. This is a wax resist face. I really do want to do another wax resist, and I'll probably do it later next week. So, or I'll do one and show you. And now we've got the guy cutting the grass next door as well, so you might be able to hear that in the distance. Okay, so let's look at some of the fabrics that I've stamped. So these ones here, this one has been wax resisted and stamped. This is one of my favorites. It's actually, I mean, it's got conventional dye on it, but I do like the color. This particular one was, yeah, another dyed one. I had originally dyed it with, do you want to come in? I originally dyed it with clay, and then I dipped it in, I would say the avocado pit, and then I...
That's my nickname. Avocado.
And then the conventional dye, and this is painted, stamped with, what paint did I use on here? I think it was just ordinary paint, but it's stamped through lace. Yeah, you know, like a lace curtain. What have we got here? I think this is the only one that I didn't, this is another one that I didn't do, but it was one of my favourite fabrics. It's vintage. I bought it many years ago. It's probably one of my first purchase of African fabric. And what have we got down here? We've got this one that I've stamped. I was just playing about with some stamps that I'd made. And, oh, we didn't do this, did we? We've got this as well. So we've got, this has been stamped with, and it's cami leather. So it's probably the thickest here. And then all I've done is try and, when I'd measured it out, let's come out. When I'd actually measured out all of the fabrics that was going to go on it, it had actually fitted. But it's, I must have just miscalculated. So, yeah, so I'm just going round. I thought I'd show you where it's at. Do you want to see how much the measurements are? 13, 6, it's 29 inches. 29 inches by 17. Wow. Okay, so this is, yeah, the biggest one that I've actually done. And oh, I did say this was gonna go in the middle. Have I stitched this yet? Okay, that's already been stitched along the top. So this was actually gonna go, this might have to go somewhere here, or it might not be able to go at all. I might just use some smaller fabrics. Or what I can do is take some of the plain fabric, do some smaller, there you go, we're going to do some wax resist on here. We're going to do some wax resist on these, and we've got the, this one, maybe I'll I'll do pieces of this and then add it. It's thin enough, but it's going to look really nice with the wax resist. Yeah. So that's it. That's the experimentation so far. And you know, you're always going to be surprised at what you manage to do. And even if you don't use the fabrics for a large project, you can use them in smaller projects and see how you get on. And I'm looking forward to finishing this one and thinking about what I'm going to do with it. So let's put that there, and the fabrics. So I look forward to seeing you again soon, and yeah, stay creative and come back, leave a comment, let me know how you're getting on. Take care for now.
Painting cloth and weaving stories, wall hangings blooming bright. Come create with Amanda, where your creativity takes flight.